This episode of the Nerf Herder Council is brought to you by Audible. Visit audibletrial.com/NHC for your 30-day trial and a free audiobook download.
I'm Kevin Thompson. I'm Chubray from Return of the Jedi. You're listening to the Nerf Herder Council.
Why, you stuck-up, half-witted, scruffy-looking Nerf herder.
You can't use that word. Only we can use that word.
If I don't make it back, you're the only hope for the Alliance.
Luke, don't talk that way. You have a power I don't understand and could never have.
You're wrong, Leia. You have that power, too. In time, you'll learn to use it as I have.
You're tuned in to the Nerf Herder Council, your source for Star Wars opinion, conversation, and debate, featuring your hosts, JT. This episode of the podcast is turning into a goddamn episode of Nova. AJ.
Yeah, Rebels is a lot like our show, where we think we have a good idea and then it just fails in execution.
Steve.
Show me on the doll where the last Jedi touched you.
On this episode of the Nerf Herder Council, we run the gamut from Leia's Force training, what really constitutes a spoiler, and what plot points we hope to see tied up in the Rise of Skywalker.
This is the Nerf Herder Council.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Nerf Herder Council. I am your host, JT. With me are AJ and Steve. We are brought to you by Audible. Go to audibletrial.com/NHC for your 30-day trial. And don't forget, you can get your own personalized or customized, however you want to phrase it, Nerf Herder Council swag at shop.nerfherdercouncil.com. So, not a lot going on right now news-wise, in terms of Star Wars stuff. But, I don't know. I saw something interesting that I kind of wanted to ask you guys about. I saw some people debating this on social media. Someone posed the question. They asked, how would you feel if one of the scenes in The Rise of Skywalker featured, like, severely digitally de-aged Princess Leia and Luke Skywalker kind of like interacting, or like Luke training her with the Force or something like that? It was interesting to me because when I first read it, like, I'm like, oh, well, what's wrong with that? It'd be cool. But then as I read through some of the comments, it kind of got me thinking, because some people made some good points, and, someone said, well, it's kind of a dangerous road to go down because, in Rogue One, Tarkin looked awesome, but Leia at the end, not quite as much. So what if they screw up Princess Leia again? Like, and with Carrie Fisher being gone, her being de-aged using other footage, that footage that was on the cutting room floor, is it going to take you out of the story, knowing that that's her with a ton of digital stuff done to her? So, I mean, would you guys have a problem with a scene like that? I personally, just on the surface, I kind of think it would be cool because it's something we haven't seen. Especially if if they're just like BSing over a sandwich or something, like, like that's kind of, but
it's just a nonsensical, zero context
Ronto cheesesteaks.
Yeah.
I like to think it's a porg sandwich.
Yeah, right.
I don't know. I can't
He's like, sis, I discovered these things on this island. You've got to try them. It's so good. He gave the recipe to Chewie.
I can't really explain why, but as soon as you mentioned that, it gave me Forrest Whitaker eye. So,
so you're not a you would not be a fan of,
because my first thought is to go back to exactly what you said about Rogue One and actually how bad Leia looked, and I'm just like, lies.
Deception.
I was like, I don't know about putting like a legitimate. I mean, for what it was, it looked bad enough, but it was like for 2 seconds.
Yeah,
if you had a legitimate scene where these hideous creatures actually had to have dialogue back and forth, that would be horrendous. So.
I really wonder because like,
but then again, they could nail the CG too, and then it's not
that's
gonna
what
be so
that's what I
bad.
was just about to say. I mean, it's like I didn't know until I read an article about it afterwards that the kids in It Chapter 2 were actually digitally de-aged because apparently they've gone into that like, you know, growth spurt stage where they look different, so they had to change them up. And I was like, oh, I had no idea. They looked exactly the same to me. And
But,
granted,
I mean, those movies are 2 years apart as opposed to the 40 that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Oh, Marvel's proven you can de-age people just fine.
Yeah.
Well, then they should have used that in Rogue One then, damn it. Well,
Yeah,
actually, they could have just used whatever the hell they used on Tarkin, because obviously it was 2 different programs, because Leia was nowhere close. And,
I think that's just a matter of where you spend your time and your money.
yeah.
I wonder if Tarkin-
they were running out a budget when they got to Leia. They spent too much on Tarkin. So
right at the butt end of the budget, yeah.
Have you seen that Corridor Crew channel on YouTube? It's
No.
like VFX artists react and all, and they just go through and they're completely like open and candid. It's kind of genius, actually. They fund their studio basically through YouTube revenue, but their point is you can make anything look perfect if you have enough time, and if you have enough time, that means you're getting paid a lot of money, or you hire more people to get it done in less time. So that's always the trade-off: is quality versus time and money. So they knew they needed one shot for Leia, and they needed like line after line for Tarkin. So guess where you're going to spend your time and your money?
Yeah.
that makes sense.
They literally took one word of her dialogue from episode 4, Hope.
That scene was actually in one of their videos. They actually discussed that, and they're like, oh yeah, we could totally tell that Tarkin was all the attention.
Well, he is a kind of like he's more than, like you said, just like 4 seconds of screen time. So, you know, I don't know. I think it's kind of a cool concept. I don't think it would take me out of the story saying, oh, well, they're like, you know, 60 years old now or 65 years old, but now they're supposed to be 30. Like, that wouldn't bother me.
So where is this coming from? Is this because people hate the Carrie Poppins scene so much that they need some sort of evidence that she was ever trained in the Force?
No. I could tell you where it comes from, but then you'll get mad at me. So, you know.
Oh, you mean from a leaked scene in the movie or something like that?
No, but I mean it's
Why do people need to see this scene?
It's other stuff around it that, you know, but I mean, I don't want to give stuff away because you, for some reason, think that people speculating means it's damn sure going to be in the damn movie. So God forbid you hear one word.
It's actually just the opposite. It's always wrong. Like always.
Well, then why can't we talk about it if it's always wrong? Why do you get so pissed off?
Because it won't ever even exist.
Who cares? It's good to talk
Be like,
about.
you know what'd be
That's
cool?
what we do in the show. We BS about Star Wars.
You know, it'd be cool if Han Solo had like 10 arms all of a sudden.
At least it's something to talk about. That's what we do.
All right, fine. Let's follow this down the rabbit hole. We're in the fan theory mode now. So okay, what is it? Come on.
I can't tell you.
I don't know.
I do know, but he's gonna get mad, so I'm not gonna do it.
Oh,
You might
could you
as well
tell
do
Luke?
it now.
Is that who you could tell?
Yeah, it sounds like he's in a great mood. You could ruin that.
No, I'm not gonna be a douchebag, you know, because he will get mad.
Wow.
But
105
I just-
episodes, and now he decides not to.
I just gave him the green light, and now he's shutting up.
Yeah.
I'm
Now it's
trying-
not
look,
fun to do it when you let me.
I'm trying to be cool, okay? I'm just saying, you know, if that was something,
It sounds like fans are speculating based on something that leaked, and he doesn't want to leak anything.
It's like underage
I
drinking.
appreciate
It's
that.
fun
Yeah.
until you hit 21 years old. And then you're just like, why?
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, look, you know, I could give
You want a
more.
mango flavored vape too?
No, that's disgusting. Don't even go there. Yeah, no smoking for me, thanks. I have to sing for somewhat of a living.
It's water vapors.
I have another comment, but I will leave it right there. No, I mean it's like I don't want to say because it might lead to other stuff that you don't want to hear, and so I'm trying to honor your ass request.
Well, I'm looking at how much time we have left, and I think you should say it.
So I'm going to make a prediction then, because I have no idea what the hell you're talking about. So here's what I think is going on.
All right, so we're
Okay.
playing hot or cold right now, right?
I think there's something out there that shows Leia doing things with the Force in the next movie, and people are like, they need some sort of background, because just the force push or the instinctive stuff that she did in Last Jedi isn't enough to send him over the edge. But whatever she's doing in 9 is like, hell no, I need to see an explanation for that.
We need backstory on her using the Force, or this is going to annoy us.
Well, you know, I kind of put 2 and 2 together reading this, and I thought that maybe what it is let's extrapolate this out and say that this is something that is maybe going to happen, which it's not like a suggestion or anything, but you know, showing digitally de-aged Luke and Leia, like, you know, him showing her the Force and stuff.
At what time period would this be in? Would this be after Return of the Jedi?
Yeah, after Return of the Jedi. At least that's what people that's the time period people were talking about. So you would assume it was after the Emperor was killed or whatever.
Clearly after he made the revelation to her that, you know, they're brother and sister.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but if you think about it, showing that scene, we did see in the trailer for The Rise of Skywalker, Rey in the forest with the training remote. Did you notice that the training? So, I mean, and we also have, you know, Carrie Fisher, Princess Leia, in a wooded area.
True.
In the footage. So what if those two things together are Princess Leia showing Rey the ways of the Force somehow, and then you'd be like, well, how does she do that? So maybe the Luke and Leia scene is there to kind of give more gravity and weight to the fact that Leia is now training somebody to use the Force a little bit.
Are you fucking with me?
No.
Like that's what you were hiding? That's all you were holding back was footage that was already in the trailer?
No. I'm not. I'm saying that's what I was guessing. If you want, like, I was thinking about what's in the trailer and then stuff people were talking about and trying to put it together to come up with maybe why it could be real.
He's so scared. I love this. I put the fear of God into him.
Honestly, while you were explaining that, I was like, okay, that's kind of exactly what AJ said, is backstory to why Leia's using the Force at some point.
Yeah. So, but I mean, because of
what you nailed it.
Yeah.
Because of
there's a WTF scene, why the Force. And then we get the
trademark.
Yeah.
Well, look, I mean, if something like that were to happen, we have footage in the trailer that kind of would make it make sense. That's what I'm saying. So, you know,
you're such a terrible liar.
What? I'm not lying about it. Fine.
You're an inspired scientist, but you're a terrible liar.
Fine. You know what it is? You know what the leak is? People are saying that the opening scene of the movie is a flashback to Luke training Leia in the Force with digital de-aging. So there you go. There's your spoiler. If you would let me not tell you.
That's not a spoiler.
See, I'm just going to tell you everything. Everything I read, I'm going to tell you. You just continue to get mad.
I'm going to tell you everything after we see the movie.
Here's a spoiler. There's an event that happens in the past that they're going to show.
Look, you always complain if I tell you anything. Now it's okay. Now all of a sudden you're not going to throw a fit?
That's not an event in the current timeline. If they're just going to cut back to something that happened 30 years ago, it's not a spoiler.
It happens in the movie. It's a spoiler. The hell do you call a spoiler?
So if Rey ever pilots the Falcon again, that's a spoiler because we haven't seen her do it in the trailer yet?
Well, no, because she flew the Falcon once, so would that be a spoiler?
But we didn't see it in this movie yet.
Oh, okay.
See, he can't even make up his damn mind what's okay to tell him.
So if we see anything other than her walking or running through sand or, you know, looking at the Death Star, it's a spoiler at that point.
I guess so. I'm just going to tell you stuff I read. I'm just going to blurt it out, and then if you get mad, you get mad. I'm not going to play this game anymore. First of all, because you're a total wuss. So if you think none of it's going to be in the movie, then what the hell does it matter talking about it? Why do you get so damn mad if someone tells you something?
What's the damn point of talking about it? I get nervous around this time because
then what are you going to talk about? We don't know what's in the movie yet. You'll have zero things to talk about.
I get nervous
except for the trailer. So what the hell else are you going to talk about?
Can I finish?
No. No, you can't.
Can't finish? Can't I
mean,
finish?
like, seriously, what else are you going to talk about besides the 2 minutes of freaking trailer?
We are 90 days away, which means the shots, the principal photography is all done. They're in post-production.
We're not 90 days away.
Yes, we are.
No, we're not. It's September. Oh wait. Yeah. Yeah.
So
I was
yeah,
thinking-
it's
yeah.
the closer we get, the more likely any leaks are going to be true. So that's where I start getting paranoid. If you're talking like 6 months away and you're like, yeah, I heard this thing happens. Who knows? They probably haven't even shot it yet. It might end up on the cutting room floor. But if there's something that comes out like this week, it's much more likely to have actually made the cut.
See, now I know what I can. I'm still going to tell you stuff because now your logic is flawed. Doesn't make sense to me. So I'm just going to do it. And if you get mad, you get mad.
Maz Kanata is banging Snoke. There's your spoiler.
Just sandwich it in with a bunch of garbage you read on Reddit and be like, guess which one's true?
Well, you know what
Oh,
they
the
did
two
say
truths
though.
and a lie.
You know what somebody said though. They said that would explain the blue lightsaber.
What?
Because
That
Sorry,
Maz
what?
was banging
because
Snoke?
the other part of the supposed thing is that they're training with one blue lightsaber and one green one, which you would have to assume would be Luke with his green one, and then so Leia's got the blue one. So that would, another story for another time. Well, Leia had it. So, I mean, that would be a potential.
Which blue one are you talking about? I instantly went to the force projection of Luke in Last Jedi. You're talking about
No.
something from Rise of Skywalker?
Yeah, the flashback scene. Leia would have the blue lightsaber.
Oh, you're saying in the supposed flashback scene there's a green and a blue. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she would have the saber that Maz
But then
had.
that would beg the question: how the hell did she get it? Because it was. Did it fall in the hatch at Cloud City? We just didn't see it.
Right.
Leia's walking back to take a piss and just trips over the saber. Like, oh, I wonder where this came from. So I don't
She
know.
just steps on it and rolls her ankle and she falls.
I'm going to ask a very basic question here because now we're getting into details and this lightsaber is going to bother me. Was that the thing that we actually saw falling away into the clouds beneath Luke? Or was that his blaster or something else?
Oh, that's a good question. I do not know the answer to that. I never actually thought about it.
Because if that's confirmed to be the lightsaber and they're saying they fished that thing out of the middle of a gas giant planet. Oh, come on!
Well, dude,
well, maybe the cloud line is there and then the ground is like 6 inches underneath that.
it's just a crap load of fog.
Yeah. It's
like the elevator theory with the Emperor.
Yeah, exactly.
They've been scared of it for decades, and then they finally send somebody down there. They get down, and it's like when you go into a pool that you think was deeper than it really is.
Yeah.
You stand up, and it's up to your chest. No, guys, it's fine down here. Dude, I'm literally standing on the ground. It's good. It's up at my waist.
Yeah,
There's so much garbage down here.
This isn't bad at all. And the ground's very soft. I didn't even injure myself on the landing.
It's Pete.
It's a planet of mulch. That's what we haven't had in Star Wars before. A mulch fog planet where everything's just nice and billowy and soft and ooh.
It's just that rubbery mulch that's on every playground in the United States underneath all the slides and stuff.
Bespin's a bouncy house. Luke falls like, oh no, Luke. You hear this boing. He comes back up, ooh. Back into the boing. Ooh. It's like a Monty Python sketch. But yeah, no, I've never thought about that. And it was never really anything we had to worry about, what fell when he, dropped through the hatch and, the bottom of Cloud City. Like we never had to worry about it until now, everyone's wondering where the hell the lightsaber went or, who got it where.
Okay, so we can actually run with this a little bit. JJ loves to open these mystery boxes. Now he's got to close them all in this one. Which plot threads does he need to close in this for you to feel like you didn't get gypped?
That for me, that's difficult because I don't know what the hell they're doing with the story.
Because the blue lightsaber is one of them, right? Like, Maz just said straight up in Force Awakens, yeah, I can totally tell you. I'm just not gonna right now.
Yeah, that could be one of them. Like right off the top of my head, and I know we've discussed it before. It would be that, and probably the Knights of Ren for me.
Yeah,
just
Knights of
because
Ren is a good one.
I really do feel like we need to know what the hell those guys were to an extent, since it was used as a advertisement point for Episode 7, and we've still yet to see the damn guys other than flashbacks. And the third, Constable Zuvia. Let's wrap up those threads, and I'm cool with episode 9.
The Constable Zuvio. Nice. I had completely forgotten about that.
What about the? Again, now, I didn't read the article. I only read the headline.
Right.
But Daisy Ridley has been quoted apparently as saying that you will discover more about her parents in this movie. Did not say like here's their names and backstory, but at least they come up at some point somehow. How do you feel? Do you even care? Do you need that?
I don't think you need it, but at the same point, when Ren said, "Oh yeah, they were drunk junk traders," I was like, immediately when we saw episode 8, I'm like, "Yeah, he's lying."
Yeah.
So I kind of assumed that there was going to be something brought up in 9 about that how much detail, how much is necessary. Not much.
I see. For me, Steve, I don't really care for there were nobody. You just magically got the Force and you kick ass at it. But I also don't care for you're a Skywalker.
Yeah.
So if
There's a third possibility.
okay.
Snoke put that idea in Kylo's head the same way he bridged their minds.
Okay, well that's fine. I'm just saying like when it.
So maybe she does have important lineage, maybe a Palpatine, and he purposely obscured that.
I'm putting my money on that she's a Windu.
Yeah, but with her, but with her age, how would that be?
Well, I said maybe a Palpatine. I didn't say like his daughter, or hell, maybe I don't know.
Yeah, no. Well, I mean, I'm open to whatever. Like I said, the whole you're nobody. That brings the whole thing in. Well, then how the hell you're so strong in the Force? And then people can be really strong in the Force just on their own. Like, okay,
and
I
they
don't
kind
really
of
like
pushed
that
that
concept.
with the little dude with the mop at the end of the movie and stuff. So like, you assume his parents weren't worth a damn either, and he's got the Force. So they're kind of advertising that you can,
unless they had a bunch of kids and that's Rey's like brother, like super younger brother.
I still assume Kenobi was just banging back in the day, dude. And there's just Force sensitive people everywhere.
That's true. It could be.
Luke gave that whole speech in Last Jedi to Rey, saying that the Force does not belong to the Jedi. End of story. There you go. That's all the explanation you need for forceful people not being a Jedi or a Sith.
Yeah.
I just hope they don't play that out, because I think it'll cheapen the Force. If like, oh, everybody's got the Force and you can be really good at it, that's like, well, then what the hell is the point of the Jedi and all that? Now it doesn't seem special. You know what I mean? It's, it's just not, it's not cool.
I kind of get that. As long as, like you said, as long as they don't go overboard and start acting like 1 in 50 people have the Force or something like that. As long as it's still the Jedi and the Sith and maybe a few random people here and there, then it's not so bad. But yeah, you're right. If 30, 40 people show up out of nowhere and they start moving things with their mind, you're just like, okay.
It just it cheapens it. Like I say, like, and going back to the parentage thing, I don't really care for the you're nobody because of what we were just saying. The whole you're a Skywalker is the cheapest out ever. We've already had that. So that's just a rehash, which I would not put past J.J. Abrams. Thank you, Force Awakens.
That brings so many questions to mind anyway. Like the whole, how could she be? And we've covered that.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I would hope there'd be a third option.
Just talking about her parents is cool, but I don't think you need like 20 minutes of detailed explanation on who, what, where, why kind of thing. Just be like, yeah, Kylo lied. Here was your real parents. Oh, okay. Maybe like 5 minutes, move along.
Yeah.
Rey is Jocasta Nu with stem cells.
Jeez, oh man. Really? Seriously? That's what you're going to do?
Episode 9 is just a flat out political statement.
I know. Right? Or like AJ said, she's just a reincarnated librarian. Like, oh wow, well this turned into a crap fest.
They just hit you with the Family Guy. Rey just comes out of the clinic. Why are they not funding this?
Right. You know what's crazy though? I actually do know this about it. Jocasta Nu actually survived Order 66.
Okay.
Vader had to hunt her down and kill her.
Was that in the comic books or something? Okay.
The friggin' librarian survives Order 66. She's in the damn temple.
Well, maybe she booked it out of there.
But
How about
do
that?
we know that she did?
That's a novel idea. Never telling
I think we'll leave it right there.
Oh my gosh.
And that's how you grind a podcast to a halt.
We're making library puns.
So lightsaber, Knights of Ren, Rey's parents.
I have a big one. That's what she said.
I was going to leave it alone.
As soon as it popped out of my mouth, I was like, I can't let that let that go by. The plot point that I want tied together. I want this whole trilogy to make sense because I don't know what it's about right now. I want JJ to put something in here. It's like, okay, that's why we've been watching this story. Like the original trilogy is Luke Skywalker defeating Darth Vader, you know,
Rebels and Empire in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The prequels was how he becomes Darth Vader.
Mm-hmm.
But we still don't really know what the hell this trilogy is about besides Disney making money. We don't really know because we don't know who Rey is or why she's doing what she's doing. Snoke right now is just some chump that got chopped in half. Ren, is he really good? Is he really? I mean, there's really nothing there that says, okay, here's the story we're being told. It's just a bunch of crap.
Yeah, it's kind of
pile
meandering
right now.
Yeah,
you know. So I want it to all come together to where we can then watch all three movies like in a marathon and go, okay, this is one cohesive story instead of just they kind of made three movies and it. Okay, well, there's good guys and bad guys and somebody wins. Like, well, okay, but that's meandering and pointless. So,
boy, I want to believe that there is an overarching.
See, you don't know
I want to believe there's an overarching story that has been in place because they're really good about like planting the seeds of things for later, like the comics and the books. We've discussed this, how things will show up in there that seem totally out of whack, but then they fit neatly into place once you've got all the rest of the pieces.
Yeah.
This has to be that keystone where everything makes sense because otherwise, like you said, it's just a bunch of stories for the sake of box office, not because they actually had a vision of how to tell a story in 3 parts.
Yeah. And it's so important to me that they do that because again, otherwise then it'll feel kind of like a cash grab, which everything's a cash grab to Disney, but if they really didn't have an idea as to what the story was going to be, that's going to be really disappointing.
Mm-hmm.
So I really want them to. I'm really hoping that episode 9, as I've said before, makes you look at episode 7 and 8 and go, oh, like just gives you a new viewpoint with which to see those movies.
Watch, we'll get a special edition of 7 and 8. That'll actually just like insert stuff.
Right.
Like, oh, now we know what it should have been about. So we're just going to director's cut. Here we go.
It just cuts from the movie to a couple of storyboards.
Yeah.
It looks like that horrible extra scene that they put in Endgame when they put it back in the theaters a few months ago.
I didn't see that. What was that?
It was literally like a stop animation storyboard thing. It wasn't even anywhere near a complete scene. It was like the absolute bottom of the barrel.
So why did they do that?
Because they just wanted to nudge that box office number to claim a record.
Yeah, they were just doing what they had to do to try to get that record. They were just like, here's an extra scene, and everybody rushed back real quick, and they were like, oh, so...
It's like the Family Guy Star Wars, like, they added even more creatures for the special editions, and the sock puppet comes up, hey guys, what's going on? What's everybody doing?
Like it was supposed to be Hulk, but he looked like he was in Minecraft or something. It was horrible.
They just inserted Minecraft scenes. Yeah. Oh my God, that's
just a creeper from Minecraft, and it just blows up like, oh, okay.
Oh my gosh! So, what plot points do you hope that they tie up, AJ?
Snoke is the biggest one for me.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, I didn't think about that.
I mean, the guy means nothing right now. He's nothing. He came from nothing.
Yeah, yeah. No, that one I'm going to agree with you completely on because if he's just one of those, if it ends up being like a good story for another time, like the lightsaber, and it's just Snoke was a bad guy and then just got carved in half and. Nothing else happens with then what the hell was that?
The name isn't even mentioned in episode 9.
Yeah. No, I agree. That's a really good one because right now we do not have an idea of what the hell his purpose even was.
Yeah, someone with his immense power in the Force to be unknown before and to rise and lead the entire First frickin' Order And actually, he didn't create the First Order. The First Order grew out of the ashes of the Empire, and that was the end of, Palpatine's plans. So Snoke actually came in and took over something as big as the First Order. So he's definitely got a story to tell there.
Yeah. I don't have a problem with him just all of a sudden, like, he's the leader of the First Order, like, because it sounds like you were kind of saying, well, how'd he get there? Like, that's kind of BS and everything. But I mean, they don't really need a backstory of all that, I suppose, because when, episode 4 started, like, who the hell was Vader? We're just like, okay, he's a really bad guy and he's in charge.
Yeah, but
So-
the First Order was happening with or without Snoke. So for him to rise to be in charge of all of it, that sounds like there's an explanation to be given.
Yeah. But then again, that could fall into how much story exposition are they going to be able to put in the movie, and how much do we really need? I mean, at that point, it's if they're going to worry about explaining every last molecule of detail, this movie's not really going to flow. It's just going to be answering a bunch of questions, and there's not going to be room for its own plot.
Well, don't worry. We've got like 45 books and probably like 17 comic series coming out in the publishing initiative of the what do they call it? Journey to Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, like we were talking about, we don't know what the story is. You look at these comics and books and stuff, and some of them is just like, well, what does this have to do with anything? I mean, isn't there like a Lobot comic or something? It's like,
I think there was.
Yeah, I mean, like these comics, like Age of Resistance or something, and they always have like a different character, and some of them are just like, and I don't have the list in front of me, but I know I've seen a couple of them. Like, what the hell does that character matter? Like, there's like shoehorning something in for the sake of
well, there was one
product.
for Snoke.
Yeah, but I mean, he's a major character, but
Most of it was about Kylo. I did go on the Star Wars Explained YouTube channel, and they gave a quick rundown of it. Do you want to hear the quick version?
Yeah, that's fine.
So apparently it focuses more, it's all centered around Snoke training Kylo. So Kylo's in it like a ton, and it really says more about Kylo.
Okay.
He actually destroys the Darkside Cave on Dagobah. Snoke takes him to Dagobah, sends him into the Darkside Cave, and he ends up having one of his hissy fits and smashes the whole thing to bits.
Okay.
So no more Darkside Cave. Kylo killed it.
Alrighty.
And I'm like, it's supposed to be about Snoke, but it seems to reveal more about Kylo Ren. Mm-hmm. And Kylo gets his own story, Phasma and Hux.
Yes, Hux.
I saw that one. I mean, but there's a bunch more though, right? I mean, there was like Poe Dameron and Finn and
No, this whole thing has only been one issue per month, and it's 4 per era. So there were 4 Age of Republic, 4 Age of Rebellion, and 4 Age of Resistance.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe I read wrong then. I stand corrected.
So, I mean, I don't know what the Phasma one is interesting, because using Phasma to lead into Rise of Skywalker, when didn't Rian Johnson confirm she's like officially dead?
I don't know. The Phasma one's like a page and a half.
Yeah.
Damn it. Even in the comic books, they did this to her. It's like a leaflet.
You just think it's like the prologue or something. You're like, nope, that was the whole story.
Yeah.
She slips on a banana peel, falls off a cliff like, well, I'll be damned. That is the most accident-prone stormtrooper leader I've ever seen.
So, yeah, I have no idea how a supposedly dead character is going to lead into the next movie, but hey, I guess we'll find out.
Yeah. I don't know. I just like back to the original point. I think it would be interesting if they started out, the movie with a flashback and kind of explain it. I have to admit, like, just the thought of seeing Leia training in the Force would be interesting. It's something. I mean, it's something you would have to assume happened.
Hopefully Luke
But-
just trains her the same way Yoda did. In the whole opening scene is just Luke riding on her back, trying to get her to pick up rocks and stuff while she's
Making her eat root leaf stew.
Yeah. Trolling her.
Yep.
Listen, damn it, this is how I learn. This is how you're going to do it.
Hey, it worked for me. Just get on board. What are you doing? Yeah, I
Can you leave your droid out in the rain, please?
you can hit him with a stick if you want. He likes that. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, explaining, giving Leia a little bit more gravitas as a Force user would be kind of cool, I think.
And she doesn't necessarily have to train Rey in the same way, like, here's how you use a lightsaber. But the spiritual side of things, because they've said that's kind of like Leia's connection is she's aware of the Force, but she doesn't use it like a Jedi.
Yeah.
You know, it's just more like a heightened perception of things.
Almost like a Chirrut Imwe type of thing.
Yeah, it's just
like
almost
Guardian of the Wills.
It's almost like a floating through space kind of thing.
Right.
Well, I mean, at least that would explain that a little bit. I mean, it was a dumb scene. It would still be a dumb scene, but at least if you have a little bit of backstory to say, okay, well, she's like more Force powerful than we've seen, and here's why, then at least you can look at that scene in hindsight and go, okay, I can understand why she would have the ability to channel the Force that powerfully. I mean,
they already killed that one for you. Don't you remember? They said that, no, she wasn't trained. That wasn't a trick that she learned. It was just like anyone who was blasted out into space would instinctively try to claw their way back to safety. She just happened to have a connection to the Force that allowed her to do so.
Well,
it was just pure instinct, and she had the wherewithal to, you know, the Force was able to help her do it.
Look, I'm trying to talk myself into making Carrie Poppins a little more palatable.
That's the best you're going to get, man. Sorry.
I mean, it's not easy. It's my least favorite scene in all of Star Wars. But.
At least, honestly, when it came out on Blu-ray, the scene felt a lot shorter. I mean, unless they cut it out for the home release. But I swear to God, in the theaters, it seemed like she was floating through space for about 15 minutes. I was like, what the hell is happening? This is awful.
You know why? You know
but
why,
then you watch it on the Blu-ray, and you're like, oh, it was like 10 seconds long. That wasn't so bad.
It's because in the theater, when they started showing like her floating out there, all of us at the same time, our heads were going, don't do that. Like you were just, it was like that watch pot
like,
never boils. You're waiting to see that dumb moment that you're praying they didn't do in the movie.
It was like, dude, I know her damn hand isn't about to move, and then you see the fingers twitch, and you're like, Jesus Christ, here we go.
Dude, yeah, I mean, that's why. It's like, you see it, you're like, oh, please tell me this is not how they're going to do it. So you're just waiting for that, for the shoe to drop, and but when it's on Blu-ray, you're like, oh, here this comes again. Like you already know it.
Like you knew how to mentally prepare yourself for the dog that you're about to watch.
Exactly. Oh man, real quick, and then we can get out of here. But that's something I actually saw the other day on Twitter. Somebody was saying that like there's a group of people on Twitter attacking. Of course, they have to call them neckbeards or like middle-aged white guys, because if you're not a millennial or something, you got to get on. But just complaining that people, let's just say like us, always rip on Carrie Poppins, and it's like, oh, that's so misogynistic. It's this, that, and the other. It's like, no. It's allowed to just
right. We
be
would have
a
been totally fine if it was a man out there.
Yeah, it's like, you know what? No,
a man could totally do that. It's instead a woman was out there.
Yeah,
it's allowed to just be a bad scene in a movie.
Yeah, and that's my take. I'm like,
it could have been a dog, and I still would have been like, come on.
Yeah, right.
Unless it was the
dogs.
dog. Unless it was the dog from the MCU that had this little space helmet on.
Oh yeah.
And he's just doggy paddling through space. You're like, ah,
right. Yeah, but it's
come on, little buddy.
Maybe Airbud.
Airbud. Yeah, but it was just so funny to me because it's like, I'm like, do you have to put a label on everything? Like sometimes something just sucks. And it's okay to say it. Like not everything Star Wars has done is perfect. I love The Last Jedi, but that scene is the worst scene in Star Wars. It's crappy. It's like this, and it has nothing to do with the fact that it's, a woman or it's Princess Leia instead of Han Solo or Luke Skywalker, or, that I'm biased to anything. I'm biased against crappy movie scenes, and that's a crappy movie scene. So it was
when that scene was finally made available to the public, somewhere out there, Jake Lloyd was like, thank God they're going to let me off the hook now.
Right.
It's like, I'm officially the second worst one.
I always look at it, and it's like whenever people argue with me about it, like, why do you hate it so much? It's not that bad. I'm like, dude, it is. Like, if you want to show her using the Force, I'm totally fine with that. That's a very cool idea. That's just a terrible way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's just not, that's just not it's not any good. I mean, there are so many other things that you could have done.
You still could have, not that I have the answer to it, but you still could have had her alive in space and do something. else out there that, you know, since that was like the scene that I knew we knew that, well, we figured she had force sensitive stuff, but it was never shown until then.
Yeah.
It's like it could have done something. Not that I have the answer, but there could have been some other way to show that she was alive out there somehow, you know, but
I mean, if
just the slow float through space back to the ship while everybody's just standing there staring through a little window in the door is just like,
have it blow up or something, and you know, she's on the other side and she can actually reach out and like grab people that flew out the opening and then pull them back in and then set off like the
like
shield.
it would have been better to have the big explosion
like,
and then like cut back to her like with a giant
holding stuff together or
like
something.
a giant bubble like struggling to hold what's left of the ship together or something.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, but just, you know, surviving in space where you can only survive like 20 seconds before you're a frozen block of ice. Like the force isn't going to stop your. I mean, maybe it does. I mean, it could do anything supposedly, but it's just that was so unbelievable, and it was like, I can't imagine people
then
being
you
in the
just get
theater.
mad at her for not saving Radis.
Yeah. It was Akbar.
Was Akbar? Okay.
Yeah, that was Akbar. The ship was the Radis, but
okay.
but or was the Radis the one from Return of the Jedi?
No, you were right.
Okay,
Radis was the calamari in Rogue One, and that's why they named the other ship.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's like I just have such a hard time, like people that piss and moan about people hating that scene. It's like, did you really sit there in the theater and go, "Oh my God, that's awesome"? I mean, did you really, or did you just was your first thought was she's frozen to death? What the hell is this? Like, I mean, sometimes.
Like even the worst feminists on the planet, I doubt jumped up in the theater and started cheering at that moment. You know?
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's a very off-putting scene at first. You know, at least it was just it was weird.
It's just allowed to be a bad scene. That's all.
Would it have been too muddy if they had made it look or said that like Kylo kind of like helped her, like shoved her towards the door? Or is that too good guy for someone who's supposedly like completely fallen apart?
No, because I mean, you already saw him lay off of his missiles.
Yeah, and in the book it even says like if he hadn't been distracted, he could have averted the missile from hitting the ship.
Yeah. So, no, I mean it would have been interesting to, you know, I mean he would have been saving his mother, which would have been, you know, after killing Han Solo would be a total. But well, now where the hell is his head at?
Right?
Because you know.
And not even like guiding her all the way, but just like enough where like she's kind of trying to do it, but she can't really because she kind of sucks at the force, but she's trying. You know, she's strong in it, but she don't know how to use it. So she's, you know, she's like paddling. Like, you know, you throw pretty much what babies can swim by instinct, right? That's the rumor, at least.
I don't know.
I mean, I'm not saying toss a baby into a pool and see what happens.
I was going to say, like, who the hell came up with that theory?
But let's
he's
just
floating. It's natural.
Like they were saying, you know, like her instincts took over, and that's what, you know, allowed her to pull herself to safety. So maybe she was like trying but couldn't quite get there, and just his push was enough to get her towards the airlock where she could get back to safety. Like that would mitigate it, right?
Maybe that's why she was actually injured. She was actually fine, but then he did a force push and ended up like
face full of debris,
breaking her back, like paralyzed her. So that little thing she was in was like repairing her spinal cord. Kyle's like, "Oops, sorry, ma." Looks like
the vacuum of space does crazy things to your beehole out there, man.
Nice. Oh my God. And, well, I guess on that one we will close up shop for the evening.
All right.
We're not going to top that. Talking about beeholes. So thanks everybody for checking out another episode of the Nerf Herder Council. We are brought to you by Audible. Go to audibletrial.com. Why are you putting up your finger?
Well, I just realized that Force Friday will have come and gone before we get on the mics to do another show. So just wishing everybody a happy and expensive Triple Force Friday. Who knows when we're going to get another one? Go buy a lot of Star Wars stuff.
I pre-ordered the 6-inch Black Series Sith Trooper, by the way, so I will have that coming in the mail.
I figured you would have went with
next week.
Figured you would have went with the Mandalorian.
I didn't see that one yet. But you know what's funny? Like,
unless maybe that's just one of the ones that's supposed to be released Force Friday, so it's not available.
Hasbro Pulse sent out an email showing, it was like, oh, here's your convention exclusives. and the Sith Trooper is in like a crimson, like maroon box.
Yeah, with all the accessories.
Yeah, it looks really cool. And then you click on the damn email, and all that comes up is a pre-order for the standard regular Sith Trooper in regular packaging. I'm like, what kind of misleading crap is that? So
Oh, that's what you're talking about. Because we talked about that, and you're like, no, it's just the regular one. I was like, that does not look like the regular one.
yeah, so but it's not the crimson one with all the extra stuff. So that pissed me off. But
When does your Emperor show up?
October sometime?
Okay, so that's probably another Force Friday release.
No, because it's actually, I think it's like mid-October. I think it's an Amazon exclusive.
So I didn't see it on the, at least, I mean, not that everything I saw was officially leaked, but that wasn't on the list that I saw.
Yeah, that's one of those ones I would like to get two of so I can open one, kind of like Grievous, only with Grievous, this one will actually stand up, because that General Grievous, man, you can't get that thing to stand up for anything. I have the opened one on my desk at work, and it tips over all the time. So I've wedged him. I've strategically wedged one of the lightsabers under Vader's helmet, the Black Series helmet. So it just looks like he's like, like touching it, but it's actually anchored there so that it doesn't
Just
fall over.
Flip them all over so Grievous just looks like an old man with 4 canes.
Yeah, totally. I should. So, but anyways, guys, we are brought to you by Audible. Go to audibletrial.com/NHC for your 30-day trial and a free audiobook download. You can get your Nerf Herder Council swag at shop.nerfherdercouncil.com. You can find the Nerf Herder Council where you find all of your awesome podcasts that you listen to, but none more awesome than us, of course. Spreaker, Stitcher, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Pocket Casts, CastBox, Spotify, most Android podcast apps, Google Podcasts. You can find us there. All of our episodes are available on YouTube. Our website address is nerfherdercouncil.com. You can get the episodes there. We are on Facebook, so just look us up there. If you'd like to email the show directly, it's nerfherdercouncil@gmail.com. And we are on Twitter @NHC Podcast. So once again, I am your host, JT @DogPoundJedi. He's AJ.
Drake Adams 579.
He's Steve.
@JSteve1005.
And we will catch you next time.
This bucket of bolts is never gonna get us past that blockade.
This bucket's got a few surprises left in her. Plus, me and Chewie are on it. Ain't that right, Chewie?
Hell yeah, you my Nerf herder.
You my Nerf herder.